Hello, my name is Roy Abadi and I'm a certified hypnotherapist. Today, I would like to talk to you about knowledge that I acquired over 20 years ago. And I use it with hypnotherapy. Some people say, how can it can be used in hypnotherapy, but I'll explain to you how I do that. I'm talking about that knowledge, I'm talking about Kabbalah. Okay, I remember I'm Israeli, I was born in Israel. And I heard about Kabbalah, but I learned and I was told that you cannot really study it unless you're 40 years old, devout, religious Jew, maybe a rabbi. They study in a yeshiva. It's a university that you study all your life, that study only Judaism. And I know this is something not for me. However, I was very interested with this knowledge. And surprisingly, only when I moved to the United States, I start immersing myself into the study of Kabbalah. I learned that over 20 years ago in the Kabbalah Center in Los Angeles. And even though I'm not affiliated with the Kabbalah Center, that's where I learned it. And maybe I took it to next levels too. Read many books and studied from other sources too. Now, again, Kabbalah in Hebrew is basically a receipt. In Israel, if somebody asks you, you buy something and asks you, would like to have Kabbalah, really it means, would you like to have a receipt? Now, after studying Kabbalah for all these years, I realized Kabbalah really means the art of receiving. Okay, and today I will attempt to give you the foundation of Kabbalah and attempt to make it very simple, and again show you how I combine it with hypnotherapy. And we'll talk about some results that hypnotherapy and Kabbalah can work together. So again, Kabbalah talks about, in Hebrew we call it the Ein Sof. Ein Sof. In English we'll say the infinite. Okay? Kabbalah talks about the infinite before creation. And in the infinite there was one entity, a very positive entity. We call the light, or in Hebrew we call it the or. O. And what is the light? The light is everything that is good. Abundance that is emanating from some source that Kabbalah really doesn't explain what it is. Apparently we cannot comprehend. However, the light, because it's so positive, created in Hebrew we call it kli. In English, translation is the vessel. The light created the vessel to fulfill all this abundance. And the vessel in the infinite state was accepting, was full of everything. Everything that is good, the vessel was full of. Until, everything was wonderful until one moment of consciousness the vessel had. And the vessel realized how different it is from the light. The light is all giving, the vessel is all receiving. And at that moment, Kabbalists called it the bread of shame, or in Hebrew is lechem bizayon. Really, lechem bizayon is contempt, okay? But at that moment, it was the moment of creation. In Hebrew, we call it tzimtzum. In English, I will translate it as minimization. Okay? This moment, Kabbalists 2,000 years ago wrote about that moment. They said from a center point, this whole universe was created. And very surprisingly that astrophysicists about 100 years ago also, when they did their measurements, tell us that the universe was created from nothing, from a center point, exactly as the Kabbalist talks. Right over 2,000 years ago, probably knew about it all the time. So in this moment of minimization, we have new rules. New rules that really the vessel created. The vessel said to the light, I don't want to receive anymore the way I received direct light before. I need to apply restriction, work for it. Okay? And thriving of being to be like the light, eventually. So just imagine how things work right now. Let's look at the light bulb. Okay, let's see, there's a filament here, and that's the light bulb. Now, the way light is revealed in a light bulb is the same way as light is revealed in the universe right now. Plus and minus goes in, and the light is revealed according to the resistor, or we call it the filament. In Hebrew, we call it resistor. So if it's a 60 watt resistor, it will resist 60, we'll have 60 watt light. If it's 100, we'll have 100. If it's 500, we'll have 500. Okay? If we'll have a light bulb that takes 60 but 500 watt will go in it, guess what? The vessel is, the resistor is not strong enough, and we're going to get will burn. That's what happens to us sometimes when we attempt to get direct light. Okay? So let's go again. We take this knowledge and put it to use. In this world right now, we cannot get direct light. We cannot wish for something and have it manifested. We have to work for it. Okay? Now the vessel set it up. The vessel set it up, and that's what's happening to us. But again, between you and me, we are going to get there. We're going to get, the vessel set it up because the vessel wants to be like the light. Okay? And it eventually will happen. We'll achieve correction. Kabbalah talks about correction. Really, the vessel needs to correct itself. Apply restriction and be like the light. However, we have really hard time being like the light because the light is all giving and we're just a vessel. So the way a vessel can be like the light is a vessel can deliver the light. Imagine a garden hose that take the water from the faucet and deliver it to the garden. Okay? So that's what the vessel should strive to be. That's what we should strive to be, is basically to take the light of God and deliver it through us into the garden. The minute we're doing that, guess what? We reach affinity with the light. However, remember I told you, the game is rigged. It's fixed. It's going to happen to us. It can happen two ways. With pain and suffering, when we are not behaving like this, the universe will push us to behave like that by pain and suffering, or by understanding this knowledge. Understanding this knowledge will get there with happiness and fulfillment. Okay, and that's what I'm thriving for, and that's how, and that's why I'm sharing with you this knowledge today, because that's what I do with my clients. Okay, when we have here people that come here, I look at it, it's like when we run a marathon, halfway through, I never ran a marathon, but I swam a lot. So just halfway through we're breaking down. We say we cannot make it. Okay, but remember the vessel set us up in a point that we will make it. Here, all I do, the way I used hypnosis and Kabbalah together, is I help you, I give you a second wind. I make you see the goal. You know, we have a lot of rules in hypnotherapy, and a great rule is that the mind doesn't know reality from fantasy. So if you come here, you have a goal, and we set it up in a goal in a way that we apply restriction. The opposite of what some people will say, okay, if you envision it, it will happen. No, you have to vision it, but in the right way. In the right way of applying restriction and become a channel. Okay? And the minute I help my clients see that, remember as I told you, the mind doesn't know reality from fantasy. And it can happen. A great Kabbalah teacher of mine says, let's borrow from the future. Because he said, in the end, we're all going to be righteous. As we said, the game is rigged. Okay, we're all going to be righteous. So let's borrow from, obviously we're not righteous right now, But let's borrow from the future, when everything will be so easy for us to achieve, because all we do is just extend ourselves as a delivery system of the light. Okay? So the minute we can borrow from the future and see ourselves in a best case scenario. Now, I would like to share with you a great event that happened here in this room. It happened a few years back. Now, a client came in, and how I used the Kabbalah and hypnosis together. A client came in. Client was back then seeing me for every 4 weeks, and client was really upset. She had skin condition. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know what it is. I think they call it eczema. It was white bubbles all around in her hand. And by the way, the client gave me permission to talk about it. So she showed me her hands, and she tells me, look at this condition. I don't know what to do. I went to the dermatologist a couple of weeks ago. He gave me medication. Medication was very expensive. I'm using it. That doesn't help me. Can you help me? I thought, yeah, I can help you. I put her in hypnosis, and I use this Kabbalah knowledge. According to Kabbalah, you know, in Genesis, ancient men lived many, many years. Adam, first man, lived 930 years. The oldest man in the world lived 969 years. Methuselah. In Hebrew we call it, I think in English we call him Methuselah. So, and the reason is why? Why? What's the difference between the Adam Kadmon, the first man, and us? What's the difference? The difference was the water. Okay? After creation, water was a great tool that was healing us. They didn't have a doctor to go to. They got a little cancer, got a little illness, used to drink water and used to get healed. Okay? The problem was they had a big problem back then. They had bad entities that the system had to kill. Okay? And the system used water to kill it. That's the flood of Noah. So the system used water to kill to kill those Nephilim, the sons of angels and the daughters of Cain, and they were so huge and giants that the only way was to just basically drown them. So I took that client into a great scenery, and I told her, remember, in hypnosis we don't know reality from fantasy. I took her to that point in hypnosis and make her see a great body of water, but body of water before the flood, and make her bathe in it, drink it, immerse in it, and breathe it even. And it was 9 a.m. The appointment was at 9 a.m. I do a 90-minute session, so we were done at 10:30. Client came out of hypnosis. She tells me, she tells me, look at my hands. They're all purple. But I was already thinking about my next client up, and only around noon, after when I had lunchtime, I picked up my phone. And I got a message from that client, and I want to read that message. Mind you, she texts me about an hour later, 11:35, she texts me, gone. So at 12:34, that's when I saw it, I text her back, what is gone? And at 1:15, the client texts me back, hand crud is almost gone. So I, 4 weeks later, when she came again, I asked her, remember that moment that that last session that you had this skin problem, what happened to it? And she tells me, oh, that day went away, never to come back. So my question for you, would you like to use Kabbalah and hypnosis together? If you do, I'm your guy.